Hi everyone. In last sessions, what we discussed, in last sessions different types of the IPs. So we are only discussing our EC2 machine. So we already discussed of the different concept in our EC2 machine. So already we discussed of the different types of the IPs in our AWS cloud. So next topic we can say called as we have the next agenda in our EC2 VM. So that is called as a user data. So what is the user data? So while we launching of the EC2 machine, to we can execute our script. So that is called as by using of the, suppose we have the one script. Suppose I want to install the web server on my machine. So how we can do this one? So we need to the create one instances that is called as EC2 VM. We created. So already we created EC2 VM. Then after that we need to the connect our EC2 machine by using of the Git Bash client software, and we can install our web server on the whatever we have the. But my requirement is a different here. I don't want to connect with my Git Bash client software, and I want to launch my instances, and while we launching the instances, I want to execute of the our script. So how we can do this one? By using of the user data we can do this one. So by using of the user data to execute our script while launching our EC2 machine. So that is called as a user data. In our instances, suppose whenever we creating the one EC2 machines here, so I am creating the one EC2 machines here. Suppose I am saying here this is my user data, user data 01. Okay. So once we creating the user data, I'm selecting here the existing KPI. So after that, we I'm allowing to the HTTP traffic from the internet because we want to install the we want to execute our script. Another advantages by using of the user data, I want to host my static website by using of the user data. We can host our static website by using of the user data. So that's why I'm allowing to the HTTP traffic. So we have the two advantages we can say. Otherwise, we can say whatever we have the script. So my script, suppose I want to host my static website. So we can write the directly my script in our user data and we can launch our static website. Otherwise, we have the another options. I want to host my static website. So we need to the create S3 bucket. By using of the S3 bucket, we can host our static website. Already we discussed in our S3 bucket. So, so I'm writing one script here. So I want to host my static website. How we can do this one? So by using of the user data, so we can host our static website. So that's why I'm allowing to the HTTP traffic from the internet because I'm deciding to the inbound rule here. Already we know that what is the inbound rule, outbound rule. So inbound rule I'm already deciding here. Then after that we in advanced details we have the concept that is called as a user data. So what is the user data? By using of the user data, so we are writing of the one script here, small script here. So 1 minute. So once you can see called as my user data, I'm here. So this is my user data. So after that you can see here the user data is optionals. In sudo su already we know that this is the file formatting systems in Linux. Then already we know that what is the sudo command, then yum command, cd command, echo command. Already we discussed in our Linux sections. So after that I'm right. So what we have did here, you can check here. Just I have entered my instance name here. Then I'm selecting the AW. Then I'm selecting here the key pair. After that, I'm deciding here the inbound rule here. So suppose if you want to connect with my Git Bash client software, so that's why I'm allowing to the SS traffic from. So after that, I'm allowing to the whatever we have the incoming traffic from the internet side. So we are allowing. So and we will respond to that community, whatever they are requesting from the internet side. So that's why we decided here. So we need to the select it here. So after that, I'm using here the user data. Why we need to enter here. Suppose I want to execute my script while launching of the EC2 machine, then we can enter our user data. This is the optional. So I'm launching my EC2 machines here. Once we EC2 machines launch here, just we need to the click on the EC2 machines here. So you can see here the in security, in the security we can see here the already we are added here inbound rule here. Suppose we are not added of the inbound rule here, so we how so already we know that just we need to the click on the security group and just we need to the click on the edit inbound rule and we need to the add this one, because we are allowing this request from whatever we have the requesting from the internet side, this side, then we are allowed to the inbound rule here and we are response to the that user. So this is my script. So it's a simple script we can say. So just I want to host my static website in that, so just we written one small code there, welcome to our application. So I want to launch my application, so I want to access my application from internet side. How we can do this one, just we need to copy the public IP addresses and just we need to paste it here. Once we pasted the our public IP addresses, you can see here the 1 minute. I think something's, let me refresh this one once again. It's running stage, not sure. Let me copy once again. Let me close. So we are not accessing this one. Something is, so I think this is my instances. In the dashboard, you can see here the running instances. In the running instances, we have the one instance. So whenever we selected the one first instances, so I think this is my already created user data. So this is already terminated. So I don't want to connect this one. So this is my public IP address. So already I have created this one. So that's why we can see here the, then I'm accessing for the running. Let me create once again here. So something is issue here. This is my running instances. In that running instances, okay, let me try once again. So let me check security group. In that security group, so we can see already here in that, otherwise we can create a one EC2 machine. See, so still it is running. So I'm not connecting my get bash client software. I'm not connecting here. So just we return the some small script in our user data. In that we return the welcome to our application. So we are allowed to the whatever we have the incoming traffic from the internet side, we are allowed. So that's why we can access here by using of the public IP addresses. Already we know that what is the private IP, public IP, and elastic IP. So here we can access our applications, whatever we have the we requested to the our server, and we are getting the response from the server side. So we can consider in this case we are a user. So we are requesting to the our browser. In that browser, this is my application link. So you can consider and we can host successfully here. This is the user data. By using of user data to execute our script while launching our EC2 machine. That is the purpose of the only user data. So it's optional. Whenever we have the requirement, then we can. So but in the real time we cannot use of the user data because we don't have a static website in the market. So most probably everywhere dynamic application. So we will discuss, just we have the user data in the EC2 machine. So my requirement is different there. So I don't want to connect with my git bash client software. So my requirement is a without connecting the EC2 VM. just we need to the run our whatever we have the requested to the server and we are getting the response. So this is the 1 hour VM machine. So after that, we have the next agenda. We can say load balancer. So what is the load balancer? So load balancer is nothing but whenever we running our application in a single server, then we can face some issues in that. So suppose this is my application. In that application, so we have only one this server. So this is my server one, server two, server three. So just you can connect it here. So in whenever we have the one server, so forget about this one. So right now I don't have any server here. So in my application only one server is there. So we have to face some issues in that. To overcome these issues, we need to the use of the load balancer. So this is my load balancer. So what is the suppose if we have the only one server in application, what are the issues in that we can face it? So one server should handle all requests. Suppose in our application, this is my streaming application. You can consider in my streaming application, we have the 10,000 user here. So 10,000 user only requested to that server, and then server will be get response to the user only that server. So this is the only one server. Right now we have the concept is there. So I'm using of the only one server in my application. So what will be face issue there? So suppose if we are using only one server, then it should be handle all requested. So this is the first issue, because suppose we are requesting the 10,000 at a time to the only one server, then what will be happen there? So it will be performance issue, it will be get delayed response to the client, then burden will be increased on the server. So we cannot say we cannot predict burden will be increased, or because whenever sometimes we are whenever suppose we have the application 10,000 user, so 10,000 user cannot access at a time. Suppose sometimes 1,000 user using our application, 10,000 using our application. So it depends on. But whenever we requested to 10,000 at a time, then burden will be increased on our server. Then response will be get delayed. Then all we can say called as all whatever we have the requested to the server. So only one server should have the handle. Then after that, maybe chances server crash, after that single point failure. So these are the issues whenever we are using of the only one server. But whenever we talked about of the suppose I want to avoid this problem, so we need to the implement our multiple servers in our application. So whenever we are using of the multiple server, then burden will be decreases, because we are requested to the suppose we have the 10,000 users here. So 10,000 at a time accessing our application. So we are not requested to the particular of the servers. We are not allowing to the 10,000 requested to the only one server. So at the moment we can divide the all requested into the distributed. So equally, once we distributed all requested from the user side to the server, then we need to use the load balancer. So to avoid the problem, we will run our application in the multiple server. We will use the load balancer to distribute the load all server in the round robin fashion. So we have the some advantages with load balancer. So our application will run in our multiple server because we are using the multiple server here. Then load will be distributed because we have the three servers here. Then we can divide the load equally in the three servers. Then burden will be reduced on the server, then fast performance, then high availability. These are the advantages in our load balancer. Suppose if we have the only one server, then burden will be increased, then response will be delayed for the client, then server may be crash, then single point failure, and all requested user from user side to handle only one server whenever we implemented only one server. But to avoid these problems, we have the one concept is there, so that is called as a load balancer. So what is the purpose of the load balancer? So we can handle the all request whatever requested from the user side, we can handle in equally distributed. So we can implement out of the multiple server in our application, and we can handle, we can say called as a load will be distributed equally, then burden will be reduced on a server, fast performance, high availability, then application will run in our multiple server. By using of the round robin fashions, we equally distributed our load by using of the load balancer. So we have the four types of the load balancer. One is a application load balancer, another one is a network load balancer, then classic load balancer. So we can say called as a, this is our three servers we implemented here. So how we can do this one? So we create, suppose this is my application. Suppose we have the only one server, then what will be happen? We will face some issues in that. Burden will be increases. One server should handle all requested, then whatever requested from the user side, then response will be delayed for the client. Server can crash, then single point of failure. But my I don't want to failure all those issues, so I don't want to crash my application. Suppose we crash our application, suppose whenever we using our only one server in our application, and maybe our server is crash, what will be happen? So at the moment we will start losing our users, because suppose we can take example of the any of the government website, old website. At the moment, sometimes server get it down because we are requesting, so many persons are requesting to the that application. So that's why server will be crashed there. So to avoid this problem, so we can use of the load balancer concept in our application. By using of the load balancer, we can say called as a, we can run our application on multiple server, load will be distributed, burden will be reduces on the server, fast performance and high availability. So in AWS we have the four types of the load balancer. One is a application load balancer, another is a network load balancer, gateway load balancer and classic load balancer. Classic load balancer is outdated in the market, so only we have the three types of the load balancers, we can say, and we can use only three load balancer in our AWS. First one is a application load balancer, the network load balancer and gateway load balancer. But whenever we using of the load balancer, suppose we have the application load balancer, network and gateway. So at the moment, which load balancer we have to select it. So we have the, based on the conditions, we can select it our load balancer. Based on our requirement, we can select. So we will discuss in deep dive of the load balancer. First, how we can create a the load balancer in our application. So already we know that how we can host. How we can say called as a, suppose I want to create a one application. So how we can do this one? By using of the S3 bucket, we can distribute it. Otherwise, by using of the user data, we can create, we can host our static website. So how we can do this one? So how we can create of the load balancer? This is my static website. So here I'm creating one EC2 VM, and by using of the user data, because I want to create a load balance in my application. So right now I am creating one instances here. This is my first instance. So I want to distribute it of the my application. So here, how many servers we have? We have the three servers. So I want to create a only two servers in my application. So that is the fine, because we are implementing only static website. Whenever we created static website, then we need to the we can say called as a we need to the implement our load balancer in our static website. So how we can do this one? Suppose I'm creating here the first VM. We can say called as the first VM 01. Okay. After that, Amazon Linux here. I'm selecting here the using of the existing key pair. After that, I'm selecting here the advanced details, and I want to enter here some details for the user data. By using of the user data, we can launch our one application. So in that application, suppose I'm saying here the 1 minute. Suppose I'm creating the one simple application. So this is my application. So you can see called as this is my application server one. So once by using of the user data, already we know that what is the purpose of the user data. So just I have launched here, but whenever we created here, we forgot this one, what will be there. So we are not decided of the inbound rule here. So I want to implemented here inbound rule for this first VM. So how we can do this one? You can see here, I cannot see inbound rule here. So I want to allow the STTP. So how we can do this one? So STTP, then after that you can select it here. You can see port here, then TCP protocol. Then you can use here the source IP for here source. So just I saved here my first VM here. I'm going to again my second instance. I'm going to create second VM here. So how we can do this one? By using of same thing, we can do this one. So I'm creating the one VM here, another that is called as a second server. So I'm creating the second server for my application. So this is the existing key pair. After that, I'm selecting here the advanced details. In advanced details, what we have to enter here? Same data we have to enter, but just we are changing one more thing here. What will be there? So we can say called as a just we need to the change one thing here. This is my second application server because we need to the distributed requested our application in our differently. So by using of the load balancer, we can distribute our application into the different server. So first VM already we created, second VM. So we are creating here. So what we have to do here? So we need to the select it here, allow HTTP traffic from the internet. We are selecting here. So I'm allowing to the launch here. So whenever we are launch our EC2 VM here, so how many machines we have? We have the two machines there. So in my applications, you can see here the 1 minute. See, this is my two application. This is my two servers. We can consider first VM, second VM. So this is my still we can see here the initializing status check initializing. Still it is creating. So first we have the VM01, VM2 here. So this is my application and VM1, VM2 we created here. First server, second server. First VM server, second VM server. So just we wanted to equally distributed our application into the server. So how this is my two VM. So already we created and already after that here we can see called as a load balancer. But before going to the load balancer, we need to the create one target group because we have the two instances. We need to the add two instances in one target group. So how we can wrap this one? Suppose we created two servers here. So we need to the wrap in our target group. So you can see here the one boundary layer already I have created here. So what we can say, this is my target group. In the target group, we can wrap our servers. We can say call it a, we can wrap our servers in a target group. We are grouping our servers. So after that, once we target group created here, then we need to go with load balancer and we have to create a load balancer. So where we can create the target group here, you can see here the in load balancer, we have the target groups. Once we click on the target group, just we need to click the create group here, target group. After that, I'm selecting here the instances. So what is the purpose of the, already we know that instances. So instances is nothing but we created two servers there, VM1, VM2. So that's why I'm selecting here. Suppose we have the target group different IP addresses. You can select it. Lambda functions, we can select it. Application load balancer. Already we discussed different types of the load balancer. But right now we have the only we created EC2 instances. So that's why I'm selecting here the instances that is called as the EC2 instances. Suppose again we have the application load balancer, then we can select it. As per your requirement wise, basic configurations V option is there. Then my target group name. So I'm saying here the simple uh, application my application. You can consider the my group name is a my application. After that, we have the protocol here. So already we know that what is the purpose of this protocol. I'm selecting here the IP addresses type IP4 here. So VPC is there. VPC you can select it different VPC. Otherwise default VPC already we have. You can create own VPC and we can select it. But right now I'm selecting only default VPC and you can check here health checks. So it's a protocol that is called as HTTP and HTTPS. So it's a high secure protocol that is called as HTTP. We will discuss later on what is the difference between the HTTP and HTTPS. So right now just I'm selecting here the protocol. I'm not selecting anything here. After that, health threshold, we have the unthreshold timeout. This is the we can say called as the our traffic, or we can say called as our target group. We have the health, in that we have the threshold number there. I'm not changing anything in that. So you can see here the success code. So after that we have the tags also is there. It's optional. I'm just clicking next here. So we created one target group here. We creating one target group here. So we selected instances. In that instances, how many running instances in our AWS account? We have the three instances in my AWS account. So first one I have created and second one is I have created. So this is the different instances. So that's why I'm not selecting. If we have the three instances, then you can create a target for the three instances. So in my two servers you can create three, four. It's depend on you. I have created only two server, VM1, VM2. After that I'm selecting here the, so you can see the include as a pending below. You can create here target group here. Once we created target group here, you can see here the healthy, unhealthy, unused, initializing, training. Then after that monitoring is there, then health checkup, all those stuffs here. You can see here the, so we are not changing anything, we are not updating anything here. So my target application group is created. This is my target group is created. We wrap first server, second server in my target group. After that, we have to create a load balancer. So we have the option is there in the load balancing, load balancer. In that load balancer, we need to the create here option is there. Also here you can see create a load balancer. Already we discussed what are the types of the load balancer: application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer. Another one is a classic load balancer. This is the we can say called as a previous generation, so it's outdated. No one are using this load balancer, classic load balancer. So we mostly probably application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway. So whenever we have the requirement, then as per our requirement wise, we can use it. So whenever suppose we have the Flipkart application here. You can see here the whenever the Flipkart is requested to the on browser, then you can see here the what type of the protocol we can see here the HTTPS. So that is called as a application load balancer. They are using of the application load because sometimes suppose we can take example. Suppose today as of normal day we are selecting the we are requested to the our Flipkart on browser, we are getting the response as usual. But tomorrow we have the big billion day. Then what will be happen there? So it will be creator. You can see here the big billion days upcoming here. In big billion days, whenever we requested to the our server, then what will be there? What will be happen there? So it will be create a suddenly user on our server. So at the moment, it may be chances our server will be crashed. So that's why we have to use the load balancer. We have to use the load balancer in our application. So here you can see here the application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. So right now I'm creating the load balancer here application. After that you can see here the what is the my load balance name. So I'm saying here the my application. You can say otherwise you can change anything here. So I'm just creating the otherwise my application. That's it. Okay. After that you can see here the internet facing. You can see in that has public IP addresses, DNS name. DNS is name is nothing but, so we will discuss later on. Just keep as it is. So I'm not selecting anything here. Just I'm selecting here the internet facing servers, internet facing traffic, because where we have to requested our application, we have to requested our application on our browser. So that's why we are selecting here the internet facing. So after that I'm selecting here the IPs4 here, and we have the option is there. You can create a own VPC, otherwise you can create a by default. Already we know that for the beginners already created by default. So for being practices, we are not aware about of the VPC. So that's why just they are providing the by default VPC here. So availability zone here and subnet. So I'm selecting here the three of them because whenever it's available here, then it will be. So you can select it here, availability zone. Right now I'm selecting my region. We have the three availability zones. So it will be managed automatically from the AWS side. We have the security group here by default. Otherwise, you can select it any of them here. I'm selecting here the launch wizard here. I'm not selecting by default here. After that, we know that what is the purpose of the HTTPS. Already we know that, and you need to select here the target group because we wrap our two servers in our one target group. And what is the inbound route here? HTTP. So already we know that what is the protocol here? HTTP, and what is the by default port number. So already we know that. After that, I'm not changing anything in that. So just I'm selecting, just click on the create a load balancer. Once we created load balancer, is our load balancer. So what we did here, so first of all, we created the two VMs there. In that, we created the user data, application server 1, application server 2. After that, we created the one target group, and then we created the load balancer with target group. What is the purpose of the target group? Target group is nothing but we can say we wrap the two VMs in the one target group, and by using of the target group, we created the load balancer. After that, we can access the load balancer in the browser by using of the DNS. DNS is nothing but it's a URL, so endpoint URL. So we have to wait for some time here. So we can see the status is a provisioning. Once it is active, then we can access it. So we can see here the all security group, all inbound rules, everything is we created the here. So in that, what we did first, we created the one VM. Then after that, we created the second VM with using of the user data. So in that, just we added the simple index.html in that application server one, application server two. So whenever we requested to the our server, then it will be distribute our load. So what is the load? Load is nothing but it's a incoming traffic. Already we know, already we discussed. So suppose what is the suppose we have the one single server, then what are the challenges we face in that? So one server should have handled the all requested. So that is the one thing here. Burden will be increased and response will we will get the delay response uh, on our application. Then server may be crash, then single point of the failure. So those challenges we can overcome by using of the load balancer. Then we just distributed the our traffic by using of the multiple servers. We created the two servers. Suppose I want to create a 100 servers, then we can create it. But is it possible to the manually created the server every time? No. So we have the different concepts is there. So already we discussed we have the four types of the load balancer. One is application load balancer, then network load balancer, gateway load balancer. After that we have the classic load balancer. In that classic load balancer, it's a legacy load balancer. So in previous generation, sometimes they use, but now we have the three types of the load balancer. We are using mostly application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. Gateway load balancer, these are the we will discuss in deep dive. These load balancer. Let me refresh once again. Can we see the active status or not here? So it will be take some time. See, we can see here the status is active. So by using of the DNS, we can access the our load balancer. Just I have pasted here my load balancer end URL point here. So what we see here, first application server. So whenever suppose I'm refreshing my page here, so you can see here the once I refresh here, so it switched to the first server. Suppose again I'm requesting to my server, then I'm getting the second server. So suppose I'm creating another tab here. So once we created the another tab here, you will get the first application server 2 machine. After that, I'm suppose I'm refreshing this page. You can see here the first. So how many times we requested to the server? Suppose I am requested to here. So it will be distributed. So it will be distributed to our machine. So it will be switched to the one machine and another machine. It will be automatically happen in our by using of the load balancer. So already we know that how we distributed the load by using of the suppose I want to load distributed on my server in the load balancer. Whenever we request it to the application server, it will be hit to the and we can say called as a whatever we have the server setups in our AWS, all requested hit to the all servers. So it will be written first server, sometimes it will be written second server. So suppose whenever we created the application at the moment user can see this one, no, just for being practical, just we created the simple application static website here and just we are seeing here the how many whenever we requested to our server, how many servers we are getting in that. So right now we created the two servers and we are getting the two servers whenever we requested. Suppose I'm refreshing again and again, then we will get the again and again, and also we at that moment we can only one server. Then what are the challenges in that? Single point of the failures is there. Also burden will be increases on the server, so we won't be get the response immediately, so it will be some delay for our client. So that's why we implementing the load balancer. So by using of the load balancer to distribute the load to all servers in the round robin fashions. Already we discussed of the advantages of the load balancers, and if we are not having of the load balancer, and what are the then what are the challenges we already face in our applications we already discussed. These are the things for the load balancer. So how many ways we can create the load balancer? We can create of the four ways. One is the application load balancer, the network load balancer, gateway load balancer, and fourth one is a classic load balancer. This is the legacy load balancer, and previous generation it is used, but whenever we creating the load balancer here, you can see here the I am creating the another load balancer here. We have the four option is there: load balancer type, application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer. After that, you can see here the previous generations load balancer. If you want to create, then we can use it. So we have the previous, it's a legacy. You can see here the choice of the application of the load balancer, then flexible of the features and all those stuffs here. So tomorrow sessions we will discuss in the deep dive of the load balancers, application load balancer, the network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. So most probably we use the three of the load balancer. Then we will discuss it first. Then we will move on our next topic. We have the auto scaling. Suppose auto scaling is nothing but we can say called as suppose tomorrow is a big billion day, then we don't know how many traffic will be, otherwise how many users will be hitted on our particular of the Flipkart application. So we don't know. So at the moment, we can we predict the how many servers we need to the user? No, we cannot predict it. So we have the that is the concept that is called as the auto scale. So we can uh, suppose if our machine is going down at the moment, suppose is there any due to the any of the issues and anything in that, then it will be created automatically. Our machine will be created, our server will be created. So we have the next concept that is called as autoscale. We will discuss in deep there in that also, because suppose we have the suppose we whenever we take example of the Netflix. In that Netflix, some new movies are available. At that moment, we have the so many rush because new movies is added. At that moment, everyone is accessing these movies and everyone is watching this movie. At that moment, load will be increases on our server. So at that time, what we have the options. So we will discuss this one, and also in that we have the some advantages of the auto scaling. After that we discuss horizontal scaling as well as vertical scaling. After that we will discuss of the EBS, then snapshot. So these are the points we will discuss in our EC2 machines. I think we will take one more sessions on the EC2 machine, otherwise we will take another sessions if it is not covered our topics in EC2 machines. So first we will discuss first OSI model. OSI is nothing but so it's a load balancers related concept. So after that we will discuss the auto scaling group. Then we will discuss already we discussed the uh, EBS volume, but we will discuss more and more in that. And also we will discuss the EBS snapshot. These are the 4 points we have the pending. So in upcoming sessions, we will discuss. So, and what about of the notes? Every points I am noting on my notepad. So you will get the all notes in our GitHub repository. Otherwise, you can connect with us. Otherwise, already I have committed in our YouTube channels. So you can access it and you can use it. So, or whatever we discuss in our sessions, all notes will be available in that. So such already I have segregated the session wise notes in that. So you will get the all notes in our GitHub. So I think that's it for today. Thank you guys.